One of the best practices of special operators is maintaining situational awareness. Let's take a look at what situational awareness is, and then we will discuss the Paranoia scale, threat assessments, and several considerations for how you can benefit from maintaining situational awareness in life and while traveling. There's a lot of great information out there on the internet, and especially YouTube. But there's also a lot of fluff or hyperbole. Unless you're James Bond or an undercover cop or a special operations guy forward deployed into a non-permissive environment, you don't need to have a super heightened sense of impending doom and paranoia. And if you are James Bond, an undercover cop, or a special operations guy, you are going to receive the training required to keep you safe in those hostile environments. But for the rest of us, our biggest problem is crime. Maybe an accident, or the very occasional wrong place at the wrong time catastrophic event. So let's start our discussion on situational awareness by defining it so we're all on the same sheet of music. I'm going to say that situational awareness is all about readiness and paying attention to your environment, in the moment, real time, so that you can quickly react to a forthcoming bad situation or evade from or prevent an ominous state of affairs, or de-escalate an emerging suboptimal event. I've already briefed the Paranoia scale in my video about being appropriately paranoid, but in a quick rehash, here's the Paranoia scale. On the left, we have the naive, and on the right, we have the paranoid. The naive person is the knucklehead who walks around with their face buried in their smartphone. They don't pay attention to their surroundings. They're oblivious of environmental or situational dangers. The paranoid person is the tough guy who always carries a gun and who sits in the corner so that they can keep their eye on everyone in the restaurant. I always recommend being appropriately paranoid, which means you relax a bit if you're in a safe environment and you switch on if you're not. And the difference is always associated with threats and the threat level. Assessing threats is a deliberate process whereby you look at what can and will most likely happen to you. In my video about your mind being your best weapon, I discussed how statistically most people will die from a car accident, or from a self-imposed health issue related to smoking, a lack of exercise, or a food disorder, usually being fat and unhealthy, or alcohol abuse. Generally, in life, you are more likely to become a victim of a random target of opportunity crime than you are to be the victim of a deliberate crime. And for sure, your chances of being a victim of a terrorist attack or a school shooting are very unlikely. Nonetheless, once you have assessed the threat, it is time to find ways to mitigate the threat. You mitigate the consequences of a car accident by defensively driving a big, safe vehicle. You mitigate the self-imposed health-related issues by not getting fat, not smoking, doing regular exercise, limiting sugar, and being moderate with your alcohol consumption. Similarly, you minimize your potential of being targeted as a deliberate crime by keeping a low profile, not being flashy with your wealth or lifestyle. You minimize your potential of being the victim of a random crime of opportunity by being smart about where you go, when you go. You keep a low profile and you stop being flashy. You pay attention to here and now, and you don't place yourself in bad circumstances. Opportunity criminals will steal from anyone who leaves their wallet on the table, who don't protect their credit card numbers, who are neglectful of their $1,000 smartphones. But the deliberate criminal is only going to target someone who has a lot of money, or appears to have a lot of money. So be the gray man, don't stick out or be flashy. An average or boring person is forgettable. A beautiful person is unforgettable. A flashy person is memorable. Sticking out in a crowd is good for your self-esteem, but it gets you noticed and makes you more of a target. This is one of the reasons why I don't show my face on YouTube. I want to help people. I want to be successful. But I don't want to be famous and I don't want to be a target. You can avoid opportunity criminals, but if the deliberate criminal sets his sight on you, you are likely to become a victim, so the key is to stay off his radar. No place should be safer than your house, but even then you should have layers or rings of security like locked doors, locked fences, and security cameras. And depending upon your level of importance and richness and targetability, you will need to maintain your situational awareness the second you leave home base. It is also good to develop a network of friends who can call or warn you in the event of impending doom or if something unusual is going on. If you're a normal person, it's nice to have a favorite restaurant and go there habitually. But if you're serving overseas and need to keep a low profile, or if you are flashy with your wealth, which invites criminals to want to target you, then you better not set patterns. The bad guy will exploit your pattern and get you when you least expect it. Pay attention to your surroundings. You likely know where the entrances are, but pay attention to where the exits are. You might need one in an emergency. Look for environmental threats, as in a construction project. Something can fall on your head. Are you walking into a bad neighborhood? Look for threats from people. Is somebody staring at you? Following you? Taking photos of you? Look for threats from vehicles. Is someone following you? Or could they jump out and grab you? I can only imagine the number of people who are kidnapped each year because they are casually walking down the street, using the sidewalk, past a white cargo van. The doors open, some guys jump out, and in a matter of seconds, your whole world changes. Never walk by a cargo van parked on the side of the road by a sidewalk. I have found that the three biggest inhibitors of situational awareness are naivete, complacency, and distraction. Naive people think that the world is a safe place, and they never think about dangers or threats. And so if you're naturally a truster or a naive person, then you need to force yourself to be more deliberate in your threat assessment and situational awareness. Complacency is another inhibitor of situational awareness. If you do something over and over and nothing bad happens, then you think you're safe. But statistically, each time you do something, you have the same chance for a potential crash and burn. The biggest inhibitor of situational awareness by far is distraction, and the biggest distractor is your cell phone. The National Safety Council reports 1.6 million car crashes each year as a result of smartphone distractions. Obviously, not paying attention to where you're driving is a breach of situational awareness. A 2020 academic study reports 270,000 pedestrian deaths worldwide, and at a minimum, 32,400 of these deaths were pedestrians who were distracted. Another British study of London crosswalks reported that 22% of pedestrians were distracted by smartphones. If you're paying attention to your phone, not the street, you could get run over. If you're paying attention to your phone, not the group of thugs walking your way, then you're going to get mugged. Yes, there's a time and a place for everything, but I always recommend taking your head out of your smartphone so that you can pay attention to your environment. Let's finish off with instinct and intuition. When it comes to situational awareness, I always say trust your instincts. As you train and develop your situational awareness, you will instinctively know places, people, and circumstances to avoid. Intuition is the result of experience and recognizing patterns that give cues about the current situation. So if your experience prompts you to recognize a pattern and that pattern doesn't feel good or safe, then leave. Better to have been overly protective and live to talk about it than to talk yourself into staying and become a victim. Okay, there you have it, a quick discussion on the use and importance of situational awareness. I hope you learned something new and are now more capable of staying safe and making good decisions. Let me know what else you do to maintain situational awareness in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to join my Life as a Special Operations team, and to forward this video to a friend who needs to see it. Life is a special operation. Are you ready for it?